Okay, it's Deviant.fun and it's time for another Deviant.fun flash review. This time we've got Brian K. Vaughan, that's right, the man behind The Last Man on Earth and the SAGA. Aided here on the drawings by, not that Brian K. Vaughan draws, but by STEVE SKROCE and the big Matt Hollingsworth in the colors and phonographics in the subtitles. So this is a very controversial book if you're American or Canadian. For me, well, I don't give a crap because I don't I I don't live that reality, that um, I wouldn't say hostility, but those bad feelings that still linger on between Canada and the United States. They like to keep their things very separate and their grounds very separate. So this book picks up on a assumption that in a near future, um, so 100 years in our future, the United States have invaded Canada, and it seems they say that Canada strike them first, strike the White House, and we follow a small militia of Canadian forces, which aren't all Canadian, at least their ascendancy is not Canadian. They're trying to survive and repel the invasion from America. And so we see here a Canadian family. This is when the shit hits the fan. So there's the news that something has happened in America, in the White House. As you can see, it has been attacked, and there are rumors that it might have been the Greeks together with Cuba, or perhaps Canada. They refuse to believe that Canada is behind that, but as they are talking, a shower of missiles just hits Canada in its heart, and guess what? One of the missiles just hits the family's house, and they're almost all blown to pieces except for the kids. So dad only has time to ask the older kid to take care of his little sister. And then we jump back into the future, and here's our little sister. She's now a young woman living on herself in the woods because her brother has been captured by the invading forces, and she's about to hunt a deer when she's confronted with a military robot from the US Air Forces, USAF. And you'll see lots of contraptions here. That's one of the things I loved in this book. The robots, they're not all human sized like this. There are huge robots that kind of remind us of Star Wars or something like that. It's huge in that aspect. In the sci-fi aspect is very interesting here. And so she gets to be saved by a band, the Two of Two, something like that. That's how they call it. They call themselves. They're just a bunch of people, half a dozen, but they are resourceful. They're very resourceful, and they have French-speaking Canadians, English-speaking Canadians, but they all understand themselves. One of them doesn't like it when this guy almost only talks French and is a known actor. He used to do stand-up and now is on the rebellion forces. So guess what? Uh, Here's a debate around Superman's origins, which is interesting. Uh, and here's what I was talking about. It's not just small robots. While this guy is talking about his Superman theory, a giant robot emerges from behind them, but they're not. That's when you understand they're not defenseless at all. They're prepared for this. They throw their cables into the huge thing, splatter it with a juicy, squishy thing that stops the joints from bending, and they actually are able to make it tumble by destroying one of its legs, and they appropriate of it. They appropriate the material, and you then find out that they've been doing this for some time now, so they have quite an arsenal in their hideout. But they're not very trusty on this girl that they just found living out there alone. They find it very hard to believe that she's been able to survive. So they put her to various tests to understand if she's not a spy from the U.S. government. Then we see here how the invading forces mistreat civilians. So the book will show us the truth from both sides of the conflict. Here's one of the trucks they have. They'll use it to tow that huge robot that they seized. And then she's led to the base. Meanwhile, there's this creepy character that works for the USA and is an interrogator and a chief operational. And yeah, she's trying to get information from a captive, a rebellious captive. So there's a bit of politics here, a bit of nudity, and beautiful, well-drawn nudity. But there's struggle, there's courage, there's a lot of camaraderie because these guys are facing a super powerful enemy with a small set of resources. So they really have to rely on their guts and on their companionship to overcome the difficulties together. Meanwhile, there are jumps in time where you see how the two kids that survived the explosion in the beginning of the book, how they coped and how they got to be where they are, and then we get back into the present day where she's all grown up and without her brother, like I said, is being held captive. Then her brother will take acquaintance with one of these rebellious squad and get to know that his sister is still alive. Then here we have a very, very interesting thing that Brian K. Vaughan came up with. I was blown away with the idea. So they're torturing a captive, actually the chief of that rebellious band. But it turns out that they don't interrogate them and torture them with normal means. What they do is they wire them up to a virtual reality system that simulates feelings, pain, whatever, and make them, for example, experience the pain of being burnt alive or being drowned, and they can do it as many times as they want until they break them, because they will feel everything, though their body is standing on a table and being monitored by physicians. The actual virtual reality environment where they are, everything seems real. And she ends up confessing the location of the base by by something really dreadful, an idea from this creepy lady. And that it's just brilliant from Brian K. Vaughan, how he managed to break what seemed to be an unbreakable soldier. Uh, yeah, brilliant the way how he does it. So you'll see lots of machinery, like I said. If you like sci-fi and big guns and future like vehicles, then you'll love this, because it's filled with that. I really enjoyed the artwork. This is a prisoner of war settlement. This is our protagonist's brother that has been held captive. And by the way, this is a closed story, so it's not volume one of something. You'll get to the end, and of course, not everything will be put in place, but it has an ending, a satisfactory ending. So I really enjoyed this comic. Of course, the writing is very very good, because it's by Brian K. Vaughan. By the way, I didn't tell you when this came out. Little printings. You know how I hate little printings. So the first printing was on April 2017. And I can tell you this feels very, very, very fresh. Yeah. So lots of fights. You love the main character. She's a very strong and ruthless girl or woman. And you will find her almost leading the band at certain times, leading the group, uh, because she's a natural leader, yeah. And you love this evil character, and you'll enjoy Brian K. Vaughan's trying to uh, turn her head around and your head around as to who is the evil side in this conflict. We all know that in war there are no innocents, right? There's no good guys and bad guys. But she presents some very good arguments, and you will find yourself doubting, am I rooting for the right guys or not? So that's good to have in a comic, something that makes you think and question what you've learned until a certain point in the comic. So, seal of approval, Brian K. Vaughan, you've done it again, or you've done it then. We stand on guard, so take a look on this. If you want to buy it, you know where to go, Deviant.fun.biz. I'm not sure if this book is on the market. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. We bought it from our rarities supplier, but maybe it is. So if you like these videos, if you've been watching our videos, please subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot, and we will be very thankful. And if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, unlike it, tell us why. And to tell us why is valid, of course, for the positive comments, of course, too. yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram if you like to know about what's going on in the comics world, what's going on with the shop mainly, the new books arriving, etc. Books that are leaving the store and that we whip for them. Some of them, yeah, it's like losing a pet or something like that. Yeah, so stay tuned because we would love to hear from you, and we love that you visit our store and our channel, and we're here to spread the love for comics, not only to sell them. So until the next video, please stay safe, well, have excellent reads, why not this one, and until the next video. So Deviant.fun out in 3, 2, 1, bye bye.